I'm gonna show you the last cheap real estate market in Florida that you can still pick up a home at a decent price. Now, this is not Miami, because let's face it, you and I both can't afford to live there. But this is one of the best up and coming neighborhoods, and you're gonna wanna know this secret spot. So now I'm gonna run through the checklist my wife and I actually used to pick the neighborhood that we currently live in. And this is no bullshit. I'm not a real estate agent. I'm not trying to sell you a home or sell you on a certain neighborhood. I'm just gonna show you what we did. I know a lot about real estate and I like making videos, so hopefully this one helps you out. But first, if you're new to the channel, my name's Grant Warrington. I was able to move to Florida and retire early thanks to real estate investing. Now I make videos exploring this place and I show people why they should either move here, invest here, or vacation here. Let's jump in. My wife and I moved here from Michigan over a year ago, and we moved to downtown St. Pete, and we rented for the first year. We didn't know where we wanted to live, what neighborhood. We really didn't know a lot about St. Pete, so we thought, you know what? We're gonna come down here, we'll rent, we'll get familiar with the area, and then that way we're not under pressure to have to buy something and find out that we hate it later. We lived right downtown and the apartment building was fantastic. It was built in 2019, so the thing was like a brick shithouse. Any storm that came through, man, we didn't have to worry about anything. But every time there was a storm, we'd always hear about some of these neighborhoods flooding. Shore Acres, I hate to say it, but was one of the neighborhoods that always flooded, it seemed like. So if you live in Shore Acres, I apologize, but you probably know this to be true. So we thought, we don't want to have to deal with flooding every time it rains or a storm blows through. So that was the first thing we said is no flood zones. Now, everything close to water, you're gonna run the risk of it being in a flood zone, obviously, and it flooding. But here's the thing, we don't make on the water kind of money. So we knew we weren't gonna live on the water anyways. So that took all those properties out of the equation for us. So we knew we were gonna have to move a little closer inland in St. Pete, Florida. And when you're not in a flood zone, you're also not paying flood insurance, which was a great thing because that saved us money right there. And that also should keep your homeowner's insurance costs down as well. I'm not an insurance agent, so make sure you talk to one and see what they have to say. So if we're already looking for a no flood zone, we thought, why don't we get into no evacuation zone too? So there's different areas and different evacuation zones, A, B, C, D, and E. A is the first one that has to evacuate, then B, then C, then D, and it kind of works its way inward towards the center of the city. So think about it this way. The farther you are away from the water, more than likely, the less of an evacuation zone you're gonna be in. This, again, should save you some money on your homeowner's insurance, or maybe it won't. I don't know. I told you, I'm not an insurance agent. Call one. After we agreed on that, there was another thing that I really loved. St. Pete has these brick-lined streets all over. Back in the early 1900s, they used to pave the streets with brick. It's actually very cool. They look beautiful. And I decided I want to live on one of these streets. So that was another piece of criteria. The other thing I wanted was I wanted a palm tree in my yard. Being from Michigan, man, we didn't have palm trees and I didn't know a lot about them. So if you've ever seen the Corona commercial with the Christmas light palm tree, that's what I knew. I remember that commercial from when I was young and I always loved palm trees, but I didn't know anything about them. Turns out there's over 2,500 different species of palm trees in Florida, and I had to have one. And since we're real estate investors, we always keep a pulse on what the city's doing in regards to that. And we noticed the city was doing a lot of rezoning. So if you look at Central Avenue, that's the street that runs from the beach to downtown St. Petersburg. That's like the main strip. The city was rezoning from Central to First Avenue North and from Central down to First Avenue South. So we looked into it a little bit more. It turns out what they're doing is they're letting investors come in, buy single family homes that are on those streets. Now they have to meet certain criteria for lot size and some different things, but they're letting them build back up to 7 units where that one single family home used to sit. Now that's got a lot of investors interested, and we started thinking, this could be the next big spot in St. Pete. Now the next thing we noticed was they're rezoning 49th Street South. What they're doing there is they're putting a median in because they want to slow this street down. This is one of the most dangerous streets in St. Pete, and it has the most pedestrian fatalities. So that's why they need to slow traffic down. And that's a great way to do it with the median between the two lanes. The other thing they're doing is they changed the zoning there as well. So they're allowing those commercial buildings to go vertical. They're going to encourage investors to buy those older, dilapidated properties on that street and rebuild them, and they can go vertical or put up to, I believe it's 3 to 4 stories. It could be even higher. I haven't looked too deep into that one. I was just encouraged by seeing that rezoning. And again, this could be the next big spot. So now we got a little bit of area to look at, and it's got our interest. So we started to notice, hey, there's brick-lined streets in here. There's rezoning all around. What is this little pocket of area? And the houses seem to be less expensive in this area. Let me put it to you this way. Downtown, very expensive. As you start moving west, it gets less and less and less expensive because it's a little less desirable. Those areas are still gentrifying. Now keep in mind, this is still St. Pete. So when I say less expensive, we're talking homes around $400,000. But you could get some beaters and fixer-uppers for around 300 grand. So this neighborhood that caught our eye right in the middle of all these things that are happening is called Central Oak Park, or COP, because it sounds cool. This neighborhood runs from 5th Avenue South to 13th Avenue North, and from 34th Street or Highway 19 to 49th Street. So now by this time, we're pretty much dialed in on this neighborhood, and we're not running all around St. Pete trying to find a house. One of the things we noticed was there's not a lot of new builds or new construction in this neighborhood. It's a lot of homes built in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, but a lot of rehabbers now are coming in, buying these homes and rehabbing them. So this neighborhood's really coming up. We also saw some new commercial buildings being built on Central Avenue, right in that neighborhood. They built a brand new Burger King, and across the street, the Blend coffee shop is going in. Now, if you're from St. Pete, you know the Blend. It's a great coffee shop, and their main headquarters are on 4th Street North. The owner came from Seattle, came here, and now she's got, I think, about 5 coffee shops around St. Pete. If it's more or less than that, and you know, put it in the comments below. But they got awesome coffee, a very cool vibe, and they're putting in a drive-through over there. So what's this gonna do? This is gonna attract even more people to this area. So now that you have these successful businesses on Central, it's only a matter of time before other businesses are gonna come in and start building out farther down Central. That's called the path of progress. And your goal is to see the path of progress and try and buy in the path of progress. Normally you can buy houses like that for a little cheaper because they are not quite there yet, but they will be soon. One of the biggest lacks in the path of progress is Central Avenue on the ocean side. They really haven't built that out yet to where it needs to be. But there is a Starbucks over there, and I'm pretty confident they're gonna start building that out and in closer to the city, right up to Central Oak Park. Now, living in downtown St. Pete, my wife and I walked everywhere. It was great. We had 2 cars in Michigan because you have to drive everywhere in Michigan. So we sold my car, unfortunately. I missed that car. And we kept hers, and now we're a 1-car family. So we loved stepping out of our apartment building in downtown St. Pete and walking everywhere. But now we're moving to the suburbs, so you're gonna have to drive. And that sucked. But we wanted to be close to the Sunrunner. That's a public transportation that takes you from the beach to downtown St. Petersburg. There are actually 4 stops in Central Oak Park, 2 going east and 2 going west. I also love riding my bicycle and Pinellas Trail, which is a trail that goes from downtown all the way over northeast, all the way up to Clearwater, I think, is right below Central Oak Park. So you can hop on the trail and I can be downtown in a matter of minutes. That was big to me. And the other thing was, where am I gonna work out? I need a gym. We had a great gym at the apartment building and that's going bye-bye, so I needed a new one. Turns out the YMCA on First Avenue South is an awesome gym, so that checked that box. And Central Oak Park's located right in the center of the city. You're a few minutes to Grand Central District, a few more minutes to downtown. If you go the other way, you got Gulfport right there with a bunch of great restaurants in the downtown. You got St. Pete Beach, and you're only about 13 minutes from Treasure Island and that awesome beach as well. I also love pickleball. I completely suck at it, but I love it. So I wanted to be close to pickleball courts, and guess what? We're not too far away. They're not in our backyard, but they're close enough I can ride my bike there. So you're literally right in the middle of everything. Now, one of the nice things here is there's no HOA or homeowners association. So that means you don't have to pay any extra fee. And that's what we really liked about the area. But one of the bad things here is there's no HOA or homeowners association. So that means you're gonna get a lot of people that don't like to cut their grass, maybe don't pick up garbage in front of their house, in the street. Some things like that. You'll see a little bit of a neglect. A lot of times you'll find some people that only cut their grass when the city threatens them that they're gonna ticket them. So you got your good and your bad, and like I said, this place is still gentrifying, but I would say it's well over the 50% mark. When we were brand new to St. Pete, we did look at a few areas, this is embarrassing to even tell you, of some homes that were rehabbed. And they look nice, right? So we're like, oh, well, look at this one. This one's not that expensive, right, for St. Pete. And it looks great in the pictures. So my wife and I packed up the car. We drove there to these neighborhoods. And unfortunately, they were in some bad neighborhoods, the ghetto. Now, it's not like it's completely unsafe, but it's just not the best area to be in. It was not even close to being 50% gentrified. And there were drug dealers living right next door. Now, how do I know? Because we sat and watched them, and I actually went next door and introduced myself. I said, hey, how you guys doing? We're looking at this house next door. How's the neighborhood? And they were friendly, talked to us, but it was pretty easy to figure out what they were doing. I don't think that's something we're gonna wanna live next door to. I can only imagine late at night, on the weekends, what goes on over there. And we also knocked on some other neighbors' doors as well. The neighbor on the other side had a brand new build, beautiful home. And we asked him, hey, how's the neighborhood? And he confirmed our thoughts. Well, there's a drug dealer on the other side of the house. But he said, you know what? I stay locked up in my home. It's a brand new build. I got thick walls. I don't have to worry about gunshots or anything. So we said, all right, we out.
Run.
And we bounced. We weren't going back to that neighborhood. So if you do want to build in this area, that's an option too. There are vacant lots that you can build infill housing. There's not a lot of new builds going up, but we do have one around the corner from me. That one's selling for about $790,000, which is great because once that sells, that's going to establish a comp for the area, and you're going to see a lot more builders coming in and building in this area. So after Hurricane Andrew in 1992, the building codes in Florida got a lot more stringent. So if you're looking for that more hurricane-proof home, that might be a great option for you. So that's the thought process we went through to find our neighborhood, Central Oak Park. I hope this video helped you, and I hope it's gonna help you stay high and dry in your new home in Florida. If you love this video, please subscribe to my channel and like this video. That lets YouTube know that you thought this video was valuable, and they'll share it with more people. Here's another video I know you're gonna love. Click this video and I'll see you there.